Good evening, everyone. This is the judge assigned to this hearing tonight, Jana Jacobs. Jackie, can you confirm for me that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I'm contacting all the commissioners now.
Okay, so that means we are in a little bit of a lull here while we wait for our commissioners to arrive tonight. So we are not yet on the record. We'll just sit here and wait for a couple minutes for our commissioners to show up. Thank you for your patience.
Commissioner Roop's here, Judge.
Hello, Commissioner Roop. Thank you for joining us. I think we may be expecting a couple other commissioners, so we're going to give them a couple more minutes here. Looks like Chairman Sylvie has arrived.
Good evening, Judge.
Hello. We may have one more commissioner with us, so I'm going to give it another minute here. You're all arriving here very quickly, but I know when you're trying to hurry, sometimes the connection just doesn't quite take.
Commissioner Holzman's here.
Hello, Commissioner Holzman. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
My information was we may have had another commissioner expected, so just 20 more seconds or so, and we'll get going.
I'm still trying to contact Commissioner Kenny. It'll be just a moment.
I appreciate everyone's patience with me, and we will be getting started very soon. Thank you. Okay, I don't want anyone to get cut off. We do have a good sized quorum here of commissioners, so it may make sense to just go ahead and get going. I have quite a preamble, and that person is accustomed to hearing all this, and they're not going to miss out on anything if they do join us later. So I believe we can go ahead and get on the record here for the formal part of this proceeding. This is a virtual hearing, obviously, so I'm going to remind everyone that your line should be muted unless you're addressing the commission tonight. We have a nice quiet hearing so far, so hopefully it'll stay that way, except for when people are talking. All right, today is January 26, 2021, and it is now 6:57 p.m. in the evening. The Missouri Public Service Commission has set this time for a local public hearing in case number WR-2020-0344, which concerns Missouri American Water Company's request for authority to implement a general rate increase for water and sewer service in the Missouri service areas. My name is Jana Jacobs, and I'm a regulatory law judge, and I will preside over the hearing this evening. The Commission has scheduled this local public hearing to give members of the public a chance to comment about Missouri American's application. This hearing is being conducted by telephone and video conference, and audio of the hearing is also being streamed from the Commission's website at psc.mo.gov. The Public Service Commission regulates the rates charged by investor-owned public utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The Commission also regulates the quality of service and safety of the operations of public utilities. There are 5 members of the Commission. Commissioners are appointed by the Governor and confirmed by the Senate. The commissioners are Chairman Ryan Silvey, who is with us this evening, Commissioner William Kenny, who may be joining us, but I don't believe has joined us yet, Commissioner Scott Roop, who is with us this evening, and Commissioner Maida Coleman, and as well Commissioner Jason Holzman, who is also with us this evening. I hope I didn't miss any commissioners who have joined us in the interim. If I did, please speak up. The Commission employs a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in utility regulation. This is an official hearing of the Commission, and statements and testimony of witnesses will be transcribed by the court reporter and must be given under oath or affirmation. There is a chat feature on the WebEx program, but be aware that the chat is not part of the official record in this case. The chat might be useful for folks who are having technical problems or need to get some basic information. All of the commissioners will have the opportunity to read all of the witnesses' remarks, which, as I have said before, become part of the record in this case. The commissioners value your comments and input. Commissioners may make comments or ask questions at any time, and I invite the commissioners with us tonight to speak up and interrupt me as necessary today if you have something that you need to say or questions that you would like to ask. I'll begin by asking counsel to enter their appearance for the record tonight. First, the representative for Missouri American Water Company, please.
Thank you, Judge. Tim Luft with Missouri American Water, 727 Craig Road, St. Louis, Missouri, 63141.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luft. And for the staff of the commission.
Thank you, Judge. Mark Johnson on behalf of the staff of the Missouri Public Service Commission, 200 Madison Street, P.O. Box 360, Jefferson City, Missouri, 65102.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. And for the Office of the Public Counsel, please.
Good evening, Judge. Thank you. Caleb Hall will be hearing on behalf of Missouri's Office of Public Counsel. Our office address is 200 Madison Street, Suite 650, Jefferson City, Missouri, 65102.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. Finally, is counsel present tonight for any of the intervening parties in this case? I don't see anyone raising their hands. So I do have a list of people who have registered to make comments tonight, so we'll be starting with those. I'll call the names of those folks.
Excuse me, Judge, before you start, Commissioner Kenny is on the line. I just want to let you know.
Thank you so much for letting us know, Commissioner Kenny. Thank you so much and welcome. All right, as I was saying, after I have gone through the list of folks that I have who've registered, then we'll open up the floor to whoever else is with us this evening that would like to make comments. When it's your turn to speak, first thing that you'll have to do is make sure that you're not on mute. So if you're talking and it doesn't seem like anybody's responding, you might want to double check that. My understanding is if you are on a phone line and you've dialed in just using an ordinary phone to call in, you might need to press *6 to unmute yourself tonight. So after we can hear you, I will ask you to swear or affirm affirm that you'll tell the truth, and then I'll ask you to state your name and spell your name for the record. It's often helpful if you can just advise the commission where you receive service if you're a current customer and if you receive water and or sewer service. The commission will not be able to answer your questions today. The commission needs to remain impartial to decide the case and hear all the evidence in this case before it makes its decision. The commission will conduct an evidentiary hearing in this case and has not made a decision yet. The commission is interested in your comments and will consider those comments with the evidence the parties present. If you have questions, you can use the same email address that was provided for registration in this case. And that address is, once again, MAWC and the word comments at psc.mo.gov. You'll also find that at whatever written materials you may have received to let you know that this hearing was taking place tonight. So I will open the floor for any opening comments if the commission wants to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I can start taking comments from the public. So the first thing I will do here is just take a look at this list of folks who have registered for this evening. And the first name that I see there is Mr. Stephen Hensey. Do we have a Mr. Hensey with us this evening? All right, and then if I mention someone's name here and you just are not quick enough on the draw, of course you can speak up and I'll come back to you. You're not going to miss your chance. The next name is Sarita Moore. Do we have a Sarita Moore with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Ms. Moore, would you please raise your right hand, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're
Go
welcome.
ahead and state your name and then spell it for the court reporter, and then you can go ahead and give your comments.
My name is Sharita Moore, Serita. Last name's Moore, Moore.
Thank you. You can go ahead and make your comment to the commission, ma'am.
Yeah, I was just basically, you know, trying to find out more information about it. I guess you all were wanting to raise the rates a little bit, because you're wanting to improve on maintenance in the area. And I mean, I was just, I listened to a lot of comments, but I'm okay with it. It's as long as the rates aren't really too high of raising, but I'm okay with it, with you all trying to help fix whatever needs to be fixed. And that's pretty much all I had to say.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Moore?
And just for the record, Ms. Moore, you're a St. Charles Water customer?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Ms. Moore? Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate you appearing here this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like the next name that I had on my list here was a Mr. Alex Ruff. Do we have a Mr. Ruff with us? Okay, the next name that I have is Shahab Mushtaq. That's Mushtaq. And as I said before, if you don't catch me when I say your name initially, you'll have a chance again later when I call for any general comments again. I also have Robert Hagar. Is there a Mr. Hagar with us tonight? Once again, if you're calling in tonight, your line is muted and you may need to press *6 on your keypad to make sure that we can hear you this evening. The final name that I have listed for pre-registrants this evening is John Stambaugh. Do we have a Mr. Stambaugh with us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. Could you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter, please?
Yes, John, Jon, Stambaugh, Stambaughh, and I'm a water and wastewater customer out in Wardsville, Missouri.
Thank you very much, sir. You can go ahead and proceed with your comments.
Yes, I want to thank the commission for having this meeting tonight and letting us speak. I have some big concerns on the rate increase amount on the water and wastewater charges. Currently, out here in Wardsville, we pay a flat rate. And in the question and answer ordeal, I stated that, there's a lot of people out here that are low water users, like my wife and myself. And I think that it's very unfair that we pay a same rate as somebody that uses an exorbitant amount of water. I just think that they should prorate that wastewater charge on the amount of water that is put into the system contributed by each household. I understand that this is just a proposed rate increase, but for the amount of average monthly water use that my wife and I use, it's nearly a 19% increase, and on the flat rate proposed is 20%. To me, that's an exorbitant amount of rate increase, especially in the economic situations that we're in right now. You could take a pile of money to any bank and try to get a return of even 5% would be hard to find right now, if not impossible. So some of the rate increase that I think that they're proposing is exorbitant, and I'm sure that the commission will look at that and take that into consideration. And earlier when I was asking, I just want to make sure that with all the COVID protocols and everything that are going on, and that the federal government has contributed money to different entities for, the CARES Act, the PPP, I don't know what all, programs are out there right now, but make sure that the monies that the American Water is asking for the rate increase isn't also being subsidized or omitted from other federal entities or other government entities where they may be getting additional revenues, and basically give some relief to the ratepayers in this situation. I believe that's all that I have. I want to thank everybody for their time this evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Sambaugh this evening? I don't believe there are any questions for you, sir, so I think we can move on to the next person, and we do appreciate your testimony tonight. Okay, I do have a list of folks who registered with the commission, but they didn't tell us what hearing that they wanted to appear at, and as some of you may know, the commission has scheduled a series of these hearings. So I'm going to ask if any of these folks are present before I move on to seeing if there's anyone else with us tonight who wants to make comment. I'm going to go through these names fairly quickly. So once again, if you feel like you missed your chance, just speak up. You'll definitely get a chance tonight. David Parr, Julie and Terry Hayes. Once again, if you're using your phone, you may need to press *6 to make sure that your line is not muted. That's if you've dialed into the call. Or if you're using the WebEx application, look and make sure that your microphone symbol does not indicate that you're muted. Barbara Yusen, that's Y-U-S-E-N. Bruce Kondracki. Philip Mitchell. Clarissa Cobb Fritz. Jasmine Jones. Or Nancy Norton. If any of you folks are out there, please speak up. Otherwise, we're ready to move on to any of the other people who have joined us this evening but did not register necessarily. So is there anyone else on the line with us tonight who wanted to make formal comments to the commission? And just go ahead and speak up.
I actually
Okay.
registered by email and phone call, so I'm not sure where my name went.
Well, I'm sure that's,
disappeared at some point.
it's very possibly could have been my error. And if that's the case, we'll just make sure that you get a chance to testify. Could you raise your right hand, please, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Could you go ahead and state your name and then spell it for the court reporter, please?
Lisa Fork. It's Lisa, F as in Frank, ORCK.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And if you wanted to let us know what community where you receive service, if you're a customer, and what kind of service you receive, and then you can just go ahead with your comments. Thank you.
Yes, we're a customer in the Lake Van Loo area between Wardsville and Jefferson City, so we're just in the county. We get sewer service only.
Okay, the floor is yours to make whatever comments you wanted to. Thank you.
So my comments are just that I'm having trouble understanding a 20% rate hike on a subdivision that doesn't even use the capacity of its treatment plant. We all have septic tanks. We're sending gray water. We have to spend $300 every 3 or 4 years to pump those septic tanks. We have to spend thousands of dollars to install those septic tanks. And then we're still getting charged as much as someone else in another part of the state that has major upgrades needed for their sewer system and their treatment. And I don't think, it doesn't seem right that our fees are exactly the same when it's not the same system and we're not connected in any way. So them getting upgraded or fixed doesn't impact us and vice versa. And again, I know that somebody else had brought up the water issue, and I think that's a valid point, that if you're saying $920 million in water improvements and $30 million in wastewater, yet the people with water are staying the same or going down, and the people with the sewer systems are going up by 20%, it really doesn't seem like the money is being taken from the right places. It just seems like there has to be a better way to do this a little more fairly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Fork?
Yes, this is Commissioner Kenny. I just have one question, ma'am. What is the subdivision you're in?
It's Lake Van Loo. It's just outside of Wardsville, Missouri.
I'm familiar with it. And how many, do you know approximately how many homes are in that site that have their septic tanks and only need the gray water treated?
Every house in the subdivision, and it's gotten quite large. We're actually on a newer part of the subdivision. There's probably at least 60 houses, at least, easy.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
your
welcome.
comments. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Fork this evening?
Yeah, Ms. Fork, this is Tim Luff from Missouri American. We got your message on the number we gave you earlier in the question and answer session. And so we're going to call you tomorrow about some ammonia upgrades that we're doing in your neighborhood. I know you're on Lalisa Terrace.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to call you tomorrow and tell you specifically what we're doing in your neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Fork. If we don't have any additional questions for Ms. Fork, the floor is now open for any additional comments from anyone else who's on the line with us this evening. Anyone else?
I have a comment.
Okay, so ma'am, I assume you haven't spoken to us yet at this proceeding. I don't recognize your voice. So could you raise your right hand, please?
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
I'm sorry?
I do.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. And could you state your name and spell it for the record for us, please?
Sure. My name is Joanne Warbeck, JoanneWorobec.
Okay, ma'am. And if you wanted to go ahead and let the commission know what community you receive service in, if you're a customer, and what kind of service you receive, and then you can go ahead with your comments.
I am in St. Charles County, and I get water.
Okay, please go ahead. Thank you.
My question is about longevity of this, and it looks like from the fact list that's posted on Missouri American Water that these upgrades were being placed from January 2018 to May 2022. With that being said, with the known, like that it was already known that these improvements were either planned or going to be planned, they had the last rate review in 2018. Why was it not taken into account then that these upgrades were going to be placed? Normally with private companies, they figure a certain CapEx. Why wasn't this figured in? And then why are we getting hit so hard right now? This is a particularly bad time with the state of the economy. A 20% hike increase is significant to these families right now. Why are we doing this? Why wasn't it planned better? And how are we going to reduce the impact going forward? You know, it's great to have only a less than 2% increase year over year, but it's not if you hit everybody with a 20% rate hike. And that's my statement.
Thank you very much. To the extent that you have questions about the application, it is possible to get more information about the case from the Commission website. You can use the email address that was used to register tonight to request additional information. And there is also another hearing coming up, I believe, on Friday at noon, where there will be another question and answer session. So if you're interested in having some answers to some of the questions that you posed, those are opportunities to do that.
Okay.
Did anybody have any, and ma'am, is it Worobeck? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions for Ms. Worobeck tonight? Okay, ma'am, we appreciate your comments. Thank you very much for joining us. Do we have any other individuals with us tonight who would like to make comments to the Commission? If you're using your phone to dial in, you may need to press *6 to make sure that you're not muted.
Hello, yes, I'd like to make a comment.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. Could you raise your right hand for us, please?
I am.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. And could you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter, please?
William Stewart, S-T-U-A-R-T, Zeman, Z-E-A-M-A-N.
Thank you, sir. Is that a hyphenated name?
No, Stewart is my middle name. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, you confused me. You stumped me. All right, William Stewart Zeman. Thank you, sir. And the next thing we would ask is if you could just let the Commission know what community you receive service in, if you're a customer, and what kind of service you receive.
Thank you. Yes, I live in Holt Summit, Missouri, Golden Pond Homeowners Association. The Sewerage Lagoon, it's a 3-cell lagoon located at the back end of Teal Lane, and I'm just sewer only.
Okay, thank you for that information. You can proceed with your comments.
All right, great. I provided testimony at the last commission meeting, and I was grateful actually that the rates went down. Now they're going up, and I can appreciate that as well. But the last thing I left this commission with was a statement similar to, you know, a 1,000 gallon water user pays as much as a heavy or $1 million or a 1,000,000 gallon water user. And where is the balance of justice in that? So I do not support I support more of a pay as you go. If you're a heavy water user, you should pay more. If you don't use as much water, you should pay less. Fair enough. All right. What I'd also like this commission to consider is kind of think of a chi-square. You got a low water user in a low maintenance situation, and you got a high water user in a high maintenance situation or lagoon system or sewage system. So the lower, we have a 3-cell lagoon system. It's all gravity flow. There's no pump stations. There's no other treatment facilities between our septic line that enters the main system that goes into the main system that flows into the 3-cell lagoon. I understand that some of these systems are very high maintenance with lift stations, pump stations, whatever they are, and then they got to go through different treatment facilities. So I'd like for this commission to consider a, if you have a high water system that requires a lot of maintenance and you're a high water user, you should be paying a lot more than a low water user on a low maintenance system. So thank you for taking that into consideration. At the last commission meeting, or last hearing, I should say, is that I provided testimonies about neighbors not receiving a bill for about 4 months. And that wasn't because until I told you all that, hey, we have people in the subdivision that have not been billed for quite a while. So I think that this still could be a problem. I would like to provide at least our homeowners list to this great commission so that they could compare what Missouri American Water has versus who we have in the Homeowners Association. The last statement I'm going to leave you all with is that the last few times that I've been to these meetings is that I understand that staff goes around in a vehicle and they drive by a house and they make a check whenever they go by a house that's on the system. And I've shown over the last decade that, in fact, that is a very faulty system. The houses do not move. It is, in fact, the people in the houses who move, and you could always verify that with whoever provides them water service. With that in mind, I am open for questions, and my testimony is complete.
Okay, Mr. Zeman, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Zeman tonight?
I just have a follow-up. Yeah, Mr. Zeman, thank you for your testimony. We recall your testimony 3 years ago and came out to your neighborhood, and we'd be happy to do that again. If you've got a list, we'd love to compare your list with our list to make sure that everybody's paying for their sewer service. We're going to reach out to you tomorrow if that's okay.
Great. Is there any time limit? Sorry, may I interrupt and just ask one more question, ma'am?
Sure. If you can make this particular exchange brief.
Real quick, is there a time limit on when I have to submit that information? I know the sooner the better, but is 10 days?
Absolutely. That'd be fine.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Mr. Zeman this evening? Okay, thank you for your testimony, sir. Did we have anyone else on the line with us tonight who wanted to make comment to the commission? Please speak up. If you need to unmute your line, you may need to press *6. I don't want to cut anyone off if they would like to speak up. So if you're lingering and considering it, now's your chance. Okay, feel free to interrupt me. It sounds like
Can I
think
add something? I'm sorry.
And is this someone who's given testimony already this evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you identify yourself, please?
Lisa Fork.
Okay, Ms. Fork, go ahead.
Yes, one of the commissioners had asked about the size of our neighborhood, and it's over 100 houses. Sorry, it's not just over 60.
Great,
So
I'm sure the commissioner appreciates that accurate information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else out there with more comments to make this evening? I'm hearing I'm hearing a little bit of noise, and I don't know if it's someone who's trying to get on or someone who should be muted. So once again, if you're trying to get on, please speak up. Okay, I don't think that's actually someone who wants to talk to us this evening. So it looks like I have called on everyone who's registered, and I'm not hearing from anyone else who wants to make comments. We thank you all for being present tonight and giving testimony to the commission. If you have additional comments, or if you're aware of anyone who couldn't be present this evening who would like to make comments, written comments can be made by contacting the email address that was used to register tonight. Once again, that's MAWC-COMMENTS, that's mock comments at psc.mo.gov. You can also contact the Office of the Public Counsel and find additional information on the Commission's webpage. In addition, if you have concerns about your service or you have any other questions and you aren't sure where to get information, you can contact the Commission's customer service line at 1-800-392-4211. So unless we have any closing comments from anyone this evening, I believe we are ready to end this hearing. Any closing comments from anyone present this evening?
This is Commissioner Kenny. I would just like to thank the participants, all the witnesses, and all those that have listened in, and just to assure them that we are an independent body of 5 commissioners, and we make decisions based on making sure that our ratepayers have safe and reliable service at a just and reasonable rates. And I would also like to thank you, Judge, for, in a difficult scenario, able to hold very fluid and hearings. And I would like to thank the staff of the Missouri Public Service Commission throughout this process of doing their jobs and trying to inform the public. So with that, I just would like to thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kenny. I know we all appreciate your comments. Okay. It looks like
Judge,
we are, go ahead. Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, this is Chairman Sylvie. I just wanted to echo our senior commissioner's comments and thanking the members of the public tonight. This is obviously an important part of our process as the one step in which we hear from the people who will actually be paying the bills. And just want to thank you, Judge, as well, and staff as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are now ready to close this hearing, and we are adjourned and off the record. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, everyone, for finishing in time for hockey.
Good
No,
night,
we're rushing
everybody.
for basketball.